All right, Jeremy, Thurman, we're recording. I'm gonna get an on-air thing for the new studio, right? Oh, let's make sure you guys' mic. Yours has a switch. Sorry, I didn't prepare.
Where's the switch?
It's actually on the mic. Yes, bam. These are some.
Yeah.
I got these from Brian.
Hi, guys.
Nice.
There we go. We can hear you. You can hear us. I got these over here from Brian at Valley Piano, and they're super good.
Right on.
The quality, I think, like, when I have people, Jeremy and I have the same. It's an SM58, and it sounds good. But those mics sound really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always notice that if I hear a clip back of, like, a previous podcast. Stag is the brand. STAGG. They should sponsor the podcast. You know, if they wanted to. It'd be cool to have an audio because, dude, audio equipment is freaking expensive.
Yes.
I'm considering upgrading some things to the new studio. Anyway. So we're going to listen to Pink Floyd. We're doing, what is it called? Like an anthology? Like what we're going to do? We're going to do a series of podcasts. We're going to listen to all their discography.
Yeah. I think that was what my question was actually going to be about, was were we going to cover like the entire discography, or were we going to like skip, say, the soundtrack stuff, like more, or obscured by clouds, or just kind of stick with the main records? Are we going to skip the live side of Ummagumma? Are we going to do that? Well, even though that's like the best part of that record, the studio side, on the other hand, is like,
I'm down to take this party wherever.
Okay, I mean that's
wherever
that's
it goes.
That's good.
You can be our spirit guide.
Absolutely.
You have the secret knowledge, man.
Okay,
you're DMing this party.
Okay, well, right on. I guess I kind of want to leave the Ummagumma stuff in there because that's some of that's kind of funny.
Let's get weird.
Yeah. So.
I mean, that's the thing. Like maybe, like I said, things that you probably didn't sit down and listen to all the way through.
Right.
Any beats. I like that we did because Thurman and I just did a singles, kind of like a side story to this quest.
Yeah, the Barrett era singles.
Yeah, obscure, but it was fun to do.
Yeah,
it was cool to just sit down and listen to things in that order.
Right. Yeah. Listen to Arnold Lane.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
Arnold Lane and See Emily Play, and
looks like that's
Apples and Oranges. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's crazy to think those are songs that made Pink Floyd famous. Like those songs are
pop tunes.
Yeah, right. Psychedelic pop music.
Yeah, it's weird.
Right.
But it was considered pretty far out for its time.
Oh, so hey, did I tell you, dudes? Sure. I have Roger Waters tickets.
No.
For Dallas. This will be my third time to see him.
When is this? When is he going to be in Dallas?
When is it? October.
Oh, okay.
Or November, one or the other. It's towards the end of the year. It's in a venue, and the stage is like this. It's like a T, like a big mass in the center, but it's like a T. So it's the name of the tour is This Is Not a Drill.
Well, I was going to say, where are they going to build the wall, Brian?
Very ominous.
Yeah, exactly, man. The last time I saw him, the screen show they had, and like it was amazing. It was amazing. And then they brought out like some local kids to sing on the wall. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they were all wearing like costumes specific to the theme, which was anti-Trump. Like it's really a
very political.
It's a very Trump-hating party. But I feel like everybody knows.
You ready to go now, Jeremy?
No, man, I'm good. I'm here to talk about Pink Floyd, bro.
Okay, I mean
that's kind of how that's kind of how I feel about it. Honestly, when I go, I'm like, bro, I get it. Okay, please don't start talking about Israel next. Yeah, because that's the thing. He's like, big in the media.
That is Roger Waters. Like, that.
David's over there just download sponsoring all these songs through and selling his guitars but they played together a few times in the last 3 years.
Right,
David and Roger. So
still hoping for that That reunion.
Yeah.
man.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, Richard Wright is dead.
Yes,
so
he
that's,
Nick Mason, you're next.
Nick Mason is
Well,
doing
he is on tour.
Right.
Was
He-
doing some sort of tribute thing.
Yeah, to like the early stuff like we're going to be listening to today, which
Yeah.
That's cool.
My friend saw him in Dallas. Michael Booty. He's been on this podcast a
Yeah.
few times.
Nice.
Yeah.
see, I wish I'd known. I probably would have checked it out.
I'd love
I
that.
know, right? And he's like, I'm going to see Nick Mason. And I
Yeah.
was like,
What?
you just don't hear Nick Mason's
Right,
name a
right,
lot. And I
like-
was like, cool, dude. It didn't even really register.
Right.
And then I was like, what, the Nick Mason?
Yeah.
See,
Like, after the fact, I was like, whoa, you told me about that and I didn't even catch it.
I'll admit, in like the history of like listening to Pink Floyd, especially with Jeremy, I feel like we kind of like knocked Nick Mason forever and be like, dude, you're like the least talented guy in Pink
We
Floyd,
definitely
you know? And
did.
it's like, he's actually a real cool dude.
He is a
He's-
super cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were just bagging on him just to bag on him.
yeah.
It's just like, I bag on Roger Waters, yet I'm going to see him a third time.
Absolutely.
And people are like, what's the best concert you ever been to? I'm like, Roger Waters all the way. Like, no question here. And
would
just,
love
but
to.
visually and musically, I'm just like the history of the band. It's all of it. It's so amazing.
Right.
I thought that I would probably never get a chance to see him again too. After I saw him I saw him twice on the last tour
Yeah.
in Nashville and Tulsa, and this one we're seeing him in Dallas. But as soon as I heard about it, I was like, oh, I'm all over that. Like, it was that good of an experience. So, hope it's good again. All right, well, let's get this going.
Yeah. Okay. So we're starting from the beginning. This is
yes, so this is,
Piper at the Gates of Dawn, which was released in like late 1967, I believe. So it's right around that psychedelic period, the summer of love.
Yeah.
The
Which we're gonna
Beatles,
do some
Sgt. Pepper's
podcast
Lonely
about that.
Hearts Club Band.
Timothy Leary.
Yeah, right. So this is, I know we've kind of knocked around what the pronunciation
Yeah,
is
how
on
do you
this.
pronounce it? Is it
Yes.
Domine?
Sure. That, I mean, to me, that sounds more intelligent.
Yeah.
So-
Sounds like a word of the Vatican.
Yeah,
Don't-
right.
Don't mind sounds like you're just redneck as hell.
Domine. Domine.
Yeah. But I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I think this is an extremely excellent album opener. And one thing that Pink Floyd albums really excel at is establishing a mood, like right off the bat. And this really does it with this spacey, psychedelic darkness. That's the only way I can describe it.
I agree with that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I dig the album art right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely of its era. The sort of kaleidoscopic. Look at the clothes. I mean,
It's kind of hard to tell where Roger Waters and who is that other guy?
which one? Where?
The one next to Roger.
On the left or right?
The right.
On the right. Okay, see, so we got Roger, we got Sid, Rick Wright, and then in the red that would be Nick Mason.
Okay.
So
A young mustacheless Nick Mason.
yeah, right. Yeah, with sans facial hair, right?
I know. Does he have a mustache? Most of the time in my mind, he has a mustache.
Yeah, I think so.
A sweet mustache. I think that's maybe the Live at Pompeii. Nick Mason, I have it
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
from like watching the DVD.
Mm-hmm. Roger should grow a mustache. Might hide some of that nose.
Yeah.
You know, somebody else said this, and I'm just repeating it, but it is a true statement that he aged well. Like he was like not,
Yeah.
he's not really good looking right there.
Dude, yeah,
Yeah.
he's yeah.
But now I can accept his face a lot more.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
And it's like, unfortunately, David Gilmour kind of like did the opposite thing of that. it's like, yeah, he's a good looking young dude, you know, and then
Colby
now
calls
it's
him,
like he's
Colby calls him Fish.
yeah,
Man.
right.
Yeah.
Still love the guy, but you know, it's
For
like
sure, yeah.
I still can't believe he sold all those guitars.
that is amazing.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
The Black Strat, man.
Yeah. What did you guys hear? There was a big boxing fight this weekend, and this English guy who won donated $9 million to a charity. His whole winnings.
I saw that. You shared that on Facebook. That's
Yeah,
cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish I had those kind of problems.
No kidding.
That's some wild problems to have.
Yeah.
Indeed.
His sponsorships and future opportunities to earn, though, and his net worth are all so much more than $9 million.
Yeah.
That's in hindsight of whether you, and I really don't agree. Like, why are sports figures that big, you know? I mean, he's an international sports figure, but he's freaking wrestling the other night in like, whatever it is, WWE.
Was he really?
Yeah, he like made an appearance over there. I'm just
That's
saying.
amazing.
That's the hot thing right now.
Yeah. Ronda
See, this
Rousey's over
is
there.
iconic.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
I love that it's almost like two completely different songs in the same song. It just kind of stops for a second and then just gets weird.
Yeah.
So David would not have been in the studio on this album.
No, David Gilmour wasn't involved with Pink Floyd at this time. Now, Saucerful of Secrets, he was. Saucerful of Secrets is the only Pink Floyd album where they have 5 actual members in the group at that point. Because, well,
And is that just in the studio, or is that in the studio, or just on tour?
I think it was both. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was both at that point.
So he kind of maybe comes in on some of this stuff. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're
Supposed to be on autoplay.
You're definitely getting more into
normal
Pink Floyd.
yeah. Now we're to Lucifer Sam.
Okay.
Which this is one of my favorite tracks off this record.
This one is wonderfully
Yeah.
weird.
Anytime,
Dark surfer music.
yeah.
Scooby-Doo episode.
Indeed.
Maybe the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit.
Green Hornet. All that. Man, Green Hornet is like probably the same year as this. 67.
Yeah, they would have been. Yeah, or that period. Such interesting lyrics too, especially in comparison with like the ultra dark Roger Waters stuff, like Life Sucks and all that. And you got Syd Barrett singing about a cat.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're right.
It fucking blows my mind. This is where Pink Floyd came from.
Yeah, man.
Get the fuck out of here with this.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's crazy, but it's just like, I cannot believe this is the same band.
That's I guess what happens when the front man kind of goes crazy.
Yeah.
So you get lost with how to tell the story or how to connect the dots on all of it, because there's a bunch of outline points that make the picture look weird.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because I feel like what they mostly came from the same background, right? They all met at art school or whatever.
Yeah.
Same generation of lads.
Yeah, and you got Waters writing this just bleak outlook on humanity and but then you have Syd Barrett who's like, I'm gonna name the record after a chapter in The Wind in the Willows and
why not
make references to Shakespeare and all kinds of like just weird stuff.
Let's get about halfway through recording and decide to do more LSD. I think that's gonna help.
Yeah. Sometimes that dose just doesn't quite do it for you.
Yeah.
Apparently the guy was just like perpetually high, just spaced out.
LSD is definitely not a drug you can do every day.
Well, apparently Syd Barrett did.
Like multiple days in a row, you know what I'm saying? Like I can only imagine the psychotic state.
Yeah. How do you
Saturated.
even function like that?
No.
Oof. Oy.
I guess it explains some of the things that are about to come up, though.
Yeah.
We'll address that at a later time on another podcast.
Maybe the silver lining in this is even though poor Sid lost his mind, we did get David Gilmour out of it. So
True.
Oh, man. Yes. David Gilmour on his guitar on Dogs.
Unbelievable.
I played it for my class the other day. You know what I run into all the time? I just kind of realized that this goes on. but like one of my students was wearing a Pink Floyd shirt, and I was like, Roger David, which one? And they're like, huh? Pink Floyd. And I was just like, what's your favorite song?
Pink Floyd is not a person.
Yeah, and they didn't know any of the songs really, and I was like, my favorite song's Dogs. We're gonna listen to it. Yeah, this is Welcome to Civ 1. Okay?
That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, this is your pop music, right?
David's gonna come along and dirty this stuff up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I was listening to Have a Cigar the other day, just driving to work. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it is mine too.
It's a great tune.
Well, okay, spoiler alert. I'm just going to go ahead and say Wish You Were Here is my favorite Pink Floyd album overall. So, Have a Cigar, man. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of hate the fact we're talking about it even though we're listening to Piper, you know, but it's like, hey, we got to get to this point somehow.
We're giving people footnotes and referrals.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
Like when some really goofy stuff happens on the very next song, we'll know why we all laugh, because this is how we feel about other Pink Floyd records.
I like how that's like a common motif that you've had this far. You're like, yeah, we're just going to get into even more weirdness in the next song.
It does.
This is Matilda Mothers. This has lead vocals by Richard Wright. He sings the lead on this. So
yeah, that came up when we were podcasting.
Right.
He was singing.
Okay.
And I didn't even know that he really sang. And then I started looking into it, and he sings a few songs. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Hey, they want to be on the podcast. It's okay.
it's the music. It's the weirdness.
It is.
It's
GG.
spontaneous moments.
Indeed.
That's
They're too sweet to be upset about it.
I know. Okay, yeah. New studio, only one way in and out, and it's the glass door to the outside.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sweet. We can jam, and it'll be over there in the corner.
Yeah.
So it's all gonna be there. Choke each other next door.
There you go. I do plan to start building up the music equipment again. Start recording some stuff.
Dude, I've got 2 basses.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get a mixer that I can use for the podcast. I have one scouted out, and I passed up a deal on it, and it's sold. Man, I waited too long.
Bummer.
But it has everything I need to record jam sessions, or it's like an all-in-one.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Has the USB capabilities and everything. All right, we're not on autoplay for some reason. So next we are Matilda Mother.
No, we just had that.
Oh, that was just Matilda Mother, sorry.
And chapter 24 is later.
Flaming?
Yeah, I think Flaming is the next.
Yeah, I think so.
Flaming, I think, was a single, actually. Even though it's on this record, I believe it was a single.
This might be the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's pretty strange, but like in a good kind of way. It's like this is kind of music I don't need LSD, man. You know?
Yeah.
This is it.
They told me what they heard. Right.
Right, yeah, you know, it's a document.
Exactly.
It's a first-hand account.
Indeed.
This is what it's like, guys.
Yeah, that's right. The cuckoo clock sound effect. That's like I wonder whose idea that was, just to be like, hey, let's add in a cuckoo clock.
Probably Rogers. He did so many of their just sound effects, like the change and money and
the clocks and time.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
he talks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what he does when you see him live? Is mostly Pink Floyd stuff, or does he do a lot of his solo stuff?
No, it's almost all Pink Floyd stuff. He does like one solo song.
Well, I mean, according to Roger Waters, he is Pink Floyd.
Well,
so, there was a lawsuit actually over that in the 80s between him and David.
What's interesting is how, David hasn't done anything since the Pompeii DVD, if I'm not mistaken, in 2016. But his set list versus at that time, back that is about when I saw Roger, they were just different on a few songs. Like David plays Run Like Hell, Roger doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, which is a great song.
Yeah.
Listened to it yesterday. I listened to it. So I listened to it sometime this week, and then I was walking into the gym yesterday after going to Lowe's, and it was playing. I was like, I'm walking into Run Like Hell jamming. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love that bass line, dude.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
I usually don't say things like that about Roger's bass
Usually
lines.
not, yes.
Right.
Well, I'd always heard a rumor that actually, like, a lot of the bass stuff was actually David Gilmour, like he recorded it.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It's a rumor. I mean, I don't know how true that is or not, but
Take Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk is the song he wrote for this record, right?
Yes, it is.
It strikes me as a bit more musically complicated than Roger Waters.
Hey, have a cigar. Wait, that's not this record. Now, how do you say this?
Yeah.
Power touch? Power talk?
I don't know. This is the one I was thinking.
Yeah, it's like an instrumental track.
There's two instrumentals, right?
Is there?
This one and then isn't Interstellar Overdrive?
Yes, Interstellar Overdrive is an instrumental, even though it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen to that.
Yeah.
This is when the devil doses started happening.
I like the fact that they recorded this like at the same time that the Beatles were recording Sgt. Pepper's at Abbey Road Studios. I think that's funny. So you imagine, did they like have some interaction or something?
Well, apparently there was some of that. At one point, I came across some of that. Like they got to like sit in while they were recording, sit out in the kind of.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
definitely. We're passing each other in the hallways all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's interesting too because like Pink Floyd was just like this new up and coming band at this time, right? And the Beatles were like the biggest band on the planet, right?
Yeah.
But by like the middle 1970s, right? I mean, the Beatles are gone at this point, and Pink Floyd is one of the biggest bands on the planet, and that's really cool.
Yeah,
I would also do one of these anthologies. I don't know if that's what they're called.
We can call them that. Album anthologies.
Led Zeppelin. Right?
I would do that.
We could talk about the plagiarism.
Yeah, see, I was going to say that's probably
I was just waiting.
Okay, yeah, Jimmy Page stole this riff from this blues musician.
Scandalous. You know what? I'm just saying. I don't care. It's still a good song.
They're the Tony Robbins of rock and roll. It sucks. They stole like 15 songs. But, they should have footnoted their...
Yeah.
They should have put, I covered this.
They should have.
Give credit.
But, oh, man. I was listening to Trampled Underfoot the other day. It's so good. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Now, there are two different mixes of this record. There is a stereo and a mono mix, and I've never heard the mono mix, but there's like a lot of stereo stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Especially Interstellar Overdrive has the panning thing back and forth between the right and left channels.
That's one thing I noticed, because last time I listened to it last night, I had it in earbuds.
Yeah.
It was going back and forth pretty hard. It was pretty awesome. I like Interstellar Overdrive a lot.
Yeah, I do too. Right. I agree. I think it's a absolutely great song, and it's such a great song. That's why we're talking about it while listening to Power.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the. Yeah, it's probably an Indian word.
Probably.
It's one of those dialects.
This is like one of the Tool segue songs, man. You just kind of listen to it. But
What do you think? So, have you heard the new Tool album?
No, I have not.
It's
No.
good. It's good. I enjoy it a lot.
Fantastic.
Hey, did I share that with you?
You did.
Before it came out?
You did, yes.
I couldn't remember, dude. I tried to hit up all my hardcore Tool fans.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, but the little interlude instrumentals, Danny Carey's drum solos, Chocolate Chip, like seeing that
Dude,
live. Was,
yes. It was amazing.
Wow. Hey, they're doing it in Oklahoma. Did you go see them in Memphis?
I did.
We haven't talked about that.
I know.
Oh,
It's incredible.
that curtain.
The curtain.
What was that?
You talk about
I've
best
never
live
seen
shows
anything
ever.
like that.
It's insane.
It made. They had this curtain around the stage, and they brought it back and forth a time or two. I never really noticed when it was coming or going. Roger Waters does the same thing. It could be so much going on. You're like, wait, where'd that beat go? Oh, it's back. It's just like always stuff going on. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay, I've been adding the play next and to Q.
So-
feature.
Nice. This is
Is this a good song?
no.
I mean, this is the guy who wrote Us and Them and Dogs and
Brain Damage and Eclipse.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we all got to start
man.
somewhere, but I mean, it's just so goofy. That's
Yeah,
what
it's ridiculous.
and you got Sid just playing his guitar like a maniac.
Yeah,
and
why not?
They really like doing the mouth sound stuff on this record
Yeah,
for
they
some
do.
reason. It's
It's a free instrument.
yeah. I believe at the drive-in covered this. The band
Really?
before the Mars Volta.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they
Nice.
covered this song.
That's
What
awesome.
what album is it that has them playing the blues with the dog?
That's metal.
It is on metal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Seamus. That's
Seamus. Mademoiselle Noobs.
Yeah.
That dog is so cute. Man, I've been so upset about Russellville has this ban on pit bulls, and they put
saw
up this
that.
dog
Yeah,
park,
yeah,
which some of my taxpayer dollars definitely went towards.
Yeah.
And will go towards the upkeep. And there's no pit bulls allowed. And then, come to find out, if you lose your pit bull and the animal shelter picks him up, you never get it back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And if they ever
Yeah.
catch a pit bull, they euthanize it.
Dude.
Nah, cool.
What kind of fascism is that?
Don't be
Yeah.
critical of the government. Okay?
I will.
I will
Don't
indeed.
you call animal control and tell them what you should feel bad about that and to pass it up the chain either.
I will.
I know. I've been talking to your family and
Yeah, dude.
friends and neighbors about it.
Messed up.
I know.
Yeah.
It irritates me when I was talking about the Sons of Liberty today. I used this metaphor just because Paul Revere's engraving of the Boston Massacre had a dog.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
It was a good segue to bring this up.
There you go.
And the taxation thing too. You know, we were talking about that.
It's kind of light on lyrics, isn't it?
Indeed.
Which is weird for
Yeah.
Roger.
Very uncharacteristic.
I mean, so I wonder how much, like, later on in the band, they're known for, like, their almost like committee sessions, I guess you could say. Right? We'll just call them that. But I wonder how much of that went on at this point. Like, how much, like, planning. Let's make the record sound this way. We want this to kind of build into that, etc.
We're jumping into Sid Solo stuff now.
Yes. See,
actually a good
side
song.
quests. Interstellar.
Yeah, I think
Overdrive.
Interstellar Overdrive's the next.
Then it's the gnome.
Yeah.
You guys remember David the gnome?
Yes. Yeah, that was on Nickelodeon,
Fuck yeah,
like back in the
man.
late 80s, I
I
think.
don't remember that.
Yeah, it used to be on, that was
In the
on.
early 90s, it came on around the same time as Eureka's Castle.
Yes, that was like, it was like during the daytime.
Yeah.
You remember Eureka's Castle, right?
I'm totally drawing a blank
Dude,
on
it's
that.
so
dude.
good.
Oh, what?
I'm disappointed in myself. YouTube it is.
You could have been on Reading Rainbow or
Man.
something, bro.
Yeah, see, I was
Well, that
on
was
Reading Rainbow.
that was PBS. So
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because there were some good shows on PBS. Remember that show, Ghost Writer?
yes,
Oh
I
yeah,
do.
for sure.
Ah.
Where in the world is Carmen San
Yeah.
Diego?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Waldo books. Okay, I just want to throw that out there. I got some in the other room.
That's awesome.
Oh, man, where's Waldo?
Yeah.
So good. It was definitely a key part of my childhood.
Yeah. Yeah, David the Gnome. Right. Yeah, that was probably like late 80s, early 90s, Nickelodeon. That was back
I think
when
I looked up. I think it came out late 80s, and we were probably
Yeah.
hitting the reruns as kids.
yeah, that's back when Nick was pretty
Dude, remember the
Good
early
back
All
then.
That? Keenan
Oh, yeah.
and Kel and
For
stuff,
sure.
man. Maybe
What's-
we just think that's good, and like the kids of now.
Oh no,
like,
man!
They look at it the same way.
I will say I think probably Hey Dude is still a good show. That's
Yeah.
what I'll say.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
Still a classic.
Oh yeah.
Salute your shorts.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh, that holds up. Okay, Rocco's Modern Life holds
Yeah,
up.
which what they brought back for a Netflix movie or whatever.
I
Is
think
it
so.
out?
I believe
yeah,
it
I heard
is.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I was just thinking about how like I really don't use my Netflix that much. Like streaming has gotten so like multi-tiered. I'm like over on the
Right.
Disney Plus, just like reliving my childhood.
Yeah.
Yep.
I watched The Three Musketeers last night, and all I could think about was what a sleazebag Charlie Sheen is now.
That's awesome.
And Kiefer Sutherland really is super successful, really.
Yeah.
You think about
Yeah.
it. Oliver
Yeah.
Platt, pretty hilarious in that movie.
Kiefer Sutherland's been steady working for forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. He's really had an incredible career. And he's
Yeah.
in a band.
Really?
Yeah.
Are
Country
they any
music.
good? Oh.
Country music.
We've listened to one of his songs on the podcast before. Like, it's wild, bro.
Kill it with fire.
Yeah.
Just because it's country music?
Yes.
Okay. Interstellar Overdrive. Like, how do you write something like this? Or is this just like spontaneous? Just we're gonna do whatever.
Do you guys know who Sturgill Simpson is?
I know of Sturgill Simpson.
He did like a concept album to an anime film.
Okay. Concept album to an anime film.
Yeah, he like contacted these people and got together with them somehow and was like, I want to be the soundtrack of your movie.
Really?
So he watched the movie and wrote this album, and you can watch it. And I'm going to eventually do a podcast about that. But yeah,
Cool.
because Sturgill Simpson, he's kind of wild, dude. He's like psychedelic country. Talks about doing DMT and all sorts of crazy shit.
Nice.
But he's singing, but he's a country singer most of the time. Interesting.
Indeed.
And when he's not doing anime rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a genre? Is that?
That I can get down on.
Do we have a new genre? Is that
Anime rock.
anime rock?
That reminds me of South Park.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
Timber.
Yeah, they definitely didn't write this, Thurman.
So you just think they just went into the studio and were like, just give us a steady beat and we'll just go with it.
Yep, let's get weird.
Just
Did they do this live, any?
Yes.
This particular song?
yeah, I believe
So that was
they
replicatable
did.
for him?
Yeah, I believe they actually did versions of this that were like 30 or 40 minutes long.
Oh, yeah. Was that when people were getting frustrated with Barrett for
Yeah,
playing the
when
same
he would
note?
go up there and play like one note solos for like 15 minutes or whatever.
Speaking of people who have done that, who are still alive right now, John Frusciante is back in the Chili
Yeah.
Peppers.
Is it really?
Yeah, I saw that.
for the 14th time. Like, yeah, dude, I'm happy about it, but I'm like, dude, remember that time you played Under the Bridge really slow and fucked everybody in the band over on live TV on Saturday Night Live? That was super selfish.
That was pretty fucked up.
Oh man, heroin will do it too.
Yeah.
It will.
That dude is
Apparently.
It's a
very,
motherfucker.
very lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not a Chili Peppers fan by like any fashion, but I do like him.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
He is definitely elevated their art form to
Yeah.
to anything that we would be talking about. You know what I'm saying? Without him, like it was never. And it's his whole story of overcoming drug
Yeah,
addiction
right,
and
yeah.
coming back that first time with Californication.
Yeah.
That was
also
great.
did a lot of amazing guitar playing on Deloused in the Comatorium.
He did.
The Mars Volta.
Yep. So did Flea. He's on there.
Yeah, they had all those guys have done so much over the years. Collaboration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like John Frusciante had this instrumental song called "Murders" that I would hear on like this electronic station all the time. It's super good.
Nice.
Yeah, I had it on one of the gym playlists. We would have kind of like electronic dubstep, like that sort of stuff
Yeah.
for certain classes, and that was on there. And it was just like him soloing to like an electronic sort of drum beat, but it was kind of up. It was good.
Nice.
That's what you should get into, Jeremy. Electronic music.
Electronic music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're building the studio.
I need a MIDI keyboard.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right.
You needed to be able to do all your own
Yeah.
effects in house, man.
Absolutely.
Roger would do the same.
Yeah, that's fair. I got to make some very psychedelic shit now.
So what's the next piece of equipment or whatever that you're gonna
What have you been
go
buying?
for? Yeah, right.
Have you got anything yet?
I haven't got
Because we need to
anything yet.
collaborate.
Indeed.
Thurman, he runs a freaking pedal shop out
He
of
does.
his
It's
I
house,
do.
man.
If there's anything you need, I probably have you covered.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm just kind of looking around at stuff at the moment, looking at guitars mostly.
Oh, really?
Because the one I have is one of those Squire Stratocasters you can get at a pawn shop for like $50.
Yeah.
So
You should hot rod it, man. I will tell you guys,
Mod it out.
I just got one of my Squire like Affinity Strat modded with a switch.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, but it's got hot rails in it.
Yeah.
It's set up just like the normal pickup configuration, but it's got a hot rails in it.
Yeah.
So
So the last podcast that we had, we were watching the Floyd videos and we were like, yeah, David Gilmour with the white Telecaster
yeah.
in there. I got a white Telecaster.
Since I saw you,
Yeah.
you purchased a white.
Yeah, I traded in a
Dude.
bunch of pedals and stuff, and I was like, "Oh my
You're
god, I
giving me
got it!"
hope,
That's
man.
amazing.
I've been trying to buy as much musical gear before I have
Right.
my first offspring.
Right. That's always right. I was like, the only way I could facilitate anything like this is I had to sell off like a bunch of other gear.
You gotta do
I
it.
was like,
You got to build an argument.
but I was like, man, I love Telecasters, and it was white, and they had the rosewood fretboard on it, and everything. I was like,
man.
yes.
Thurman has to have a Telecaster. Those
Yeah,
are cool.
Dude, tellies are
I think,
great.
right.
They
'Cause,
are.
when we were playing with Aaron, when we were in Dark Continent,
Dark
right?
Continent.
Yeah, I had the Sunburst Telecaster.
Yeah.
I had that guitar for like 10 years, and
That's an
I
incredible
sold
guitar.
it, and I regret that every single day. That is the one thing I regret
I
selling.
think I'm going to stop selling guitars.
Yeah. You
It's like
should.
I felt like I lost a piece of my soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have
Damn
to add
it,
on to your
man.
house to have a room for guitars, you should.
Do it.
Damn, I even added a room onto my gym for it.
There you go.
That's not a problem, man. That's not normal behavior.
It's not normal, but that's because normal is wrong.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like people ask. I'm like, I'm just making this up. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like need a spot to do this. Dude, I have a really big office at the new gym, like big enough I could throw a couch in there and it still not be overcrowded at all. So
That's awesome.
It's definitely gonna have to be a nap couch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Taking a nap anywhere is key.
I completely
Like
agree.
My office at work.
Yep.
I don't know why they needed the bongos in there, but they do.
Are we on to the round?
Yeah, we're
All right,
on to the
David
now.
Gnome.
So what kind of guitar were you thinking about looking for, Mr. Barlow?
I really have nothing in mind at all, Thurman. I'm
Okay.
completely
Well, no,
open-minded.
I mean, I'm here to
Just
guide
looking.
you on this journey.
He really,
Yeah.
dude. We should go to this guitar center.
We should.
and do
We
a
should just, like,
podcast
yes!
about that.
We should. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm totally down
You know,
for
I
it.
have a really nice GoPro that
Yeah.
with a mobile setup.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know how like the
Just for
the corporate
interspersing.
people at Guitar Center would feel about us, you know. Hey, what the hell you got doing?
Yeah, right. It'd be like, "There's nothing. We got the lights and the camera. Nothing to see here."
Can you explain the pricing on this guitar? Guitar Center representative.
You know, I'm not. I like Guitar Center. I know
too.
a lot of people knock them, but man, it's like for a lot of
I don't know
people,
why
that's-
I've never been. I
Really?
mean, I have been
Okay.
to a Guitar Center,
Yeah.
but dude, I was probably like 22 years old.
Yeah, where it's like you really don't know what you're even looking
And I
at.
don't
Yes.
think I had any money.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It was just like,
It was a double whammy at the time. I was like in Little Rock for something and just went.
Yep.
Yeah.
I played the Bootsy Collins bass that's on the wall.
Oh, nice.
I made him get it down.
It's their job.
And you're gonna yes, exactly. You said I can play anything hanging on the wall. Get that thing down. I gotta play it.
I've done that. Like, I want to say the one in Little Rock had a 12-string like vintage Rickenbacker,
Nice.
and I was like, I had no intention of buying it, but I'm like, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
it was like
Never played
$3,000.
one of those.
Yeah,
I
when,
was
when
like,
are you gonna lay hands on that again?
yeah, right. I was like, I've never even seen this. It was like from maybe the mid to late 70s. So I was
Nice.
like, yeah, this is cool. You know,
bet it
you
was
don't
fun.
see that. Actually, it wasn't that good.
Wasn't it?
I played a Rickenbacker. It wasn't that high end. It was like an $800 guitar.
Yeah?
It was an electric semi-hollow body.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just wasn't.
Hey, they're not for everybody. I mean, like, I enjoy them. I have a 330 and I like it, but they're not for everybody. I mean, you can't shred on them or anything, or you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's not made for
Shouldn't
that.
shred on it, but
You're jamming some Isley Brothers tunes.
oh, this is where we get into the mysticism.
What is chapter 24 of what?
Is it supposed to be like the I Ching? Isn't that? That's what I've heard. It's like some translation out of that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or it's not like it's not direct, but it's based on that, and it fits perfectly with the times.
Indeed.
Everybody getting into all this Eastern philosophy stuff and
Crystals.
Yeah, it is I Ching. You should be on Jeopardy or something,
You
man.
no, I don't think that's one of those instances where it's like you just get up there and you would just freeze up and
Man,
know.
is Alec Trebek still
Yeah, I think
doing
he's.
it?
I think he's still doing it. I think he's still.
Pancreatic cancer,
Yeah.
man.
He said the other day that, like, although he is getting better, he does have a definite stopping point in mind, and he's gonna announce when his last episode will be.
Damn.
Actually, they should just make a AI Alex Trebek,
They should.
or somehow
real?
somehow download his consciousness
Like,
into a
can
computer.
we go back to Bob Barker AI,
Yeah.
like
There's gotta be
deep
a-
fake instead of what's going on now?
Yeah.
Price is Right.
Gary, get out of here. Sure,
What did he get back on Newsline?
his ex-girlfriend got murdered the other day.
Yeah, I heard that, or I read about it online.
She was on The Price is Right a year or so ago. It was like bring your spouse or family to work day, and he brought his girlfriend, and she was on there. We were all like, she is entirely too attractive for Drew
And
Carey.
she got murdered.
And she got murdered
Yeah,
by
that's-
another ex-boyfriend the other day.
Crazy. Super crazy.
Indeed.
Man, I just listened to Of Mice and Men, Steinbeck.
Yeah, that's a
and left.
depressing book.
And
Indeed.
then I turned around and watched the movie.
Of course you did.
Yeah,
Gary Sinise was reading it to me. They're really pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Except there's about an hour more detail in the book. But man, what a drainer.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh.
I hadn't, that is one that I did go through when I was a kid. But damn, it still holds up too. It's a good
For
book.
sure.
Dude, it is wild how far Pink Floyd has come just in like 2 albums in the future of this album.
Yeah.
No, like 2 albums in the future, they're kind of aimless at that point. They're like, we don't know what to do.
Wandering in the wilderness for 40 years, perhaps.
But, and then they get everything together about around 70, 71 with... I know a lot of people don't like Atom Heart Mother, but I really like that record.
Yeah, that one's a good record.
And Metal is like considered like the record where everything really clicks.
Yeah.
Because echoes,
Yeah, that
right?
one's
20
pretty gnarly.
minutes.
So I have a book that explains these hexagrams.
Okay.
Like all of like Taoist thought is rooted in like this translates to dice and all sorts of crazy shit. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I can't really. It's like it's almost like Eastern logic in a way.
Yeah.
Is how I would kind of.
What is this one?
This is the Scarecrow.
Yep. And then it's bike.
About the Batman villain. Yeah.
Did you ever see anybody like really good play the spoons? It's
Not in person,
It's badass.
no.
Okay,
Only
I
in
got
like an old bluegrass type thing.
to see Rusted Root. She played the spoons.
Yeah.
She would like on her like washboard. I had like some sort of like a washboard type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But would do different things with the spoons, like traditional style, but also almost like a washboard.
Nice.
Yeah, Rusted Root. You guys ever get into them very much?
No.
They sang a song, "Send Me On My Way." You know, it's like iconic. It's been on 1,000 movies. Send Me On My Way.
Okay.
They played like Woodstock '94, Woodstock '99,
94.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, back before Woodstock was ruined by 99 and
Riots and fire.
Limp Biscuit.
yeah.
And
For real.
Yeah, that 90
Fred Durst is now directing movies with John Travolta in them.
Oh man, I have what movie?
I forget the name of it. It's called
Exactly.
exactly. It's something about it's like Superfan or something like that. It's about a fan that's crazy about a famous person.
Oh, I heard about this. I heard
Yeah.
somebody else talking about this. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
John Travolta. I kind of like this.
Yeah, I do too.
It's
Yeah.
soothing. It's weird, but not too weird.
But probably in 67 this was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
what is this? Is this even music?"
I just like world percussion. Like
Yeah,
non-traditional percussive
Absolutely,
sounds.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I have a couple djembes, congas, bongos.
We're back to flaming again?
We should be on bike.
Oh, Bike, yes. This was the final track that they had on the Echoes Best of, the 2-disc
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
from like the early 2000s, maybe about 2001. Mm-hmm. I remember, yeah, because they have other Barrett songs and all that kind of through there, but this pops up at the very end, and I think it's after High Hopes,
Maybe.
which, you know, is like epic. And,
Yeah, High
and this
Hopes is
shows
great.
up and it's like, what? What is this? You know?
Just a small reminder there at the very end that this is where we used to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to go back and look at Nick Mason's set list now and see what all he did from this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally go see the live thing. These songs would probably be great in a live setting.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's a circus.
All I know is when I go see Roger, he's gonna have 3 dudes there trying to replace Dave.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And like 17 musicians on stage.
Yeah.
Or some crazy damn thing like that. Like then he had these two ladies. I forget these two. They were some sisters act. They're not actually sisters, I don't think.
Right.
But damn, they were like playing percussion and singing. Oh wow, they were a really cool part of the show. I'm trying to think of what their name was. I hope they're back.
Yeah. If that show's in October, I may look into it. I would love to see Roger Waters.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
I'd
cool.
check it out.
Yeah. That's like top 3 of things to see before I die.
Dude, I will say this, like, because I very much got the sense last time. I was like, oh man, I may never get a chance to do this again. Luckily, Trump's running for president again, so he's pissed about it.
Yeah, as long as Roger's angry, he's going to be out there, and you'll have the opportunity to see him.
Exactly. It's like Al Jorgensen from Ministry. As long as they're Republicans, there'll always be another Ministry record.
This is so funny. Like, we were walking out of the show, and like there's some like Pink Floyd or Roger Waters shirt. It was like, but it was iconic. It was like a tie-dye. I forget. It was this iconic Pink Floyd looking Merc, you know, and it was like $75. It was like, fuck capitalism. But hit up this $75 t-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, I would love that t-shirt, but damn.
But fuck that.
I can't.
No.
That's insane. It's insane.
70.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some rants in the Roger Waters sort of discography about capitalism and all this. Not Now John's a pretty good example of that.
Yes, I love that song. I love that song. I sing it at work all the time.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
I always thought that maybe this was like a locked groove at the end of like a vinyl record where instead of like your needle just going off into the center, it locks in and it just repeats over and over and over, and you eventually lose your mind.
Oh, okay. I wasn't using it.
What song is it where you get sucked into the radio?
That's
Welcome to the Machine.
Have a Cigar?
Is it Have a Cigar?
It is Have a Cigar.
Oh, wait, hey, Jeremy, this is your favorite version of Pink Floyd. So is this the part of the show where we talk about the record we just heard? Because this sounds like adult oriented radio background music. This is like NPR type stuff, right?
Yeah,
let's throw a commercial in here. Yeah, it's so soothing and
tell us how you feel. Nestle Pure Life water.
Yeah, right there you go. Yeah.
Oh man,
you guys gonna go see Starship this weekend?
No, my dad grounded me.
Okay, so we just listened to Pink Floyd's debut album, 1967's The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. So now we'll go through and rate them out of 10, or rate the record out of 10, and then sort of explain where does it fit in the Floyd discography? How do you feel about the record? Were there certain songs you liked? Were there ones you didn't like? That sort of thing. So who wants to start this off? I would say flip a coin, but there's no such thing as a three-sided coin, so that's not possible.
Jeremy, what do you think, dude?
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give it. My scale is gonna be out of Pink Floyd records 1 through 10. Type versus all records of all time. It's kind of hard to mix that in.
Okay,
there,
so just against Pink Floyd album.
Against Pink Floyd album.
Perfectly fine. Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a 6.
A 6.
Yeah, it's psychedelic. It's trippy. It's weird. There's some that power touch song. I don't know how you pronounce that. That one, just throw that in the garbage. And Take Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk is super weird and not my favorite at all, especially for being a Roger Waters song. But other than that, I really like the album. Like Astronomy Domine, as we decided to pronounce it. That one is great.
We'll just call it AD.
Yeah. Interstellar Overdrive, you can't go without that song. It's awesome. But I think, I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay, right on.
Guess number 2.
Okay, if we're gauging it against Pink Floyd records, I think I understand where you're coming from. And especially I'll admit I'm like a bigger fan of the latter stuff. By latter stuff, I mean the classic Phase stuff. This is the latter stuff, and not really a big fan of that. But that's perfectly fine. Love David Gilmour and all that. But
later,
we'll come up to this later.
Spoiler alert! It's gonna get
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be like Mystery Science Theater 3000 style like stuff.
But okay, Brook that day.
Back to I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good record. I think it's a solid record. I think given in its time period, it's good. I like the melodies. I like the sort of out of the box sort of guitar playing that goes on. I think that's one thing that Barrett kind of doesn't get credited for, is that he's was a really idiosyncratic guitar player like kind of staccato type playing, which I think is cool. I like that. I like the psychedelic freak out stuff. Like Interstellar Overdrive to me, I think is the highlight of the record. Even though, right, you don't have any vocals or anything on that. I think that one song pretty much sums up early Pink Floyd, where it's sort of an auditory just experience. But I would say that, yeah, either Interstellar Overdrive or Lucifer Sam, to me, is the highlights of that record. And I do like AD a lot, too. Just because I think it's a really good intro. And I think a lot of Floyd records are like that, where they have that first song that just establishes what you're going to hear. You're going to go on a journey. You're going to go on a trip. You're going to learn something today, kids. You know, that sort of thing. But I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good record. I think it's a good debut. Yeah, Power Touch is a bit ridiculous. I agree. It's grating at times. And Take Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk, I think, is weak.
Yeah.
But it's Roger Waters. So I don't know if I'm just saying that based on what came later. You know, being like, hey man, this guy wrote Echoes or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if I'm actually doing that, but I think it's a good record. So I'll pass it over to you, Brian.
I'm gonna strike the mean and say a 7.
Okay.
But
right on.
for the instrumental and melodic qualities of the album.
Yeah, I like the melodies quite a lot.
Like, and it's a solid start too. The first 2 tracks, for
Right.
example, are probably my favorite on the album. And then you get Interstellar Overdrive.
Right.
Classic. But you know, honestly, like, I wonder, I got a lot of respect for it just because of how they were experimenting, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'll agree with that.
like, you could tell there's a lot of open-mindedness going on. Probably not a lot of structure. We talked about that earlier.
Right.
It's like, I wonder, and maybe that's the byproduct of why it's going to be more of like an average to great album versus in the overall spectrum of the Pink Floyd discography.
To me, I think it's like a definitive entry in not just psychedelic music, but dark psychedelic music. As in, it kind of walks a boundary between where it's kind of, hey, sunshiny, happy, but then there are some elements to it that are kind of murky and a little scary. Like, you're singing a song about a scarecrow that apparently has human qualities. I mean, that's a bit strange, right?
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, that's pretty odd.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's a definitive entry as far as like psychedelic music goes. And yeah, I think you're right, Brian. I think it's a good like first step. Like in establishing that, hey, we're here, this is what we're about. I think it works on that level. And yeah, I think Power Touch might be like the worst point in that record, just because it's so goofy.
It could be in the running for possibly the worst Pink Floyd song.
We should definitely do that.
We should.
We should be
if
thinking
we're gonna
about
be-
some.
And at least worst song per album when we do the album, and that one is definitely the worst.
Okay,
song on the
so best song then. I would say I enjoy Lucifer Sam. That would be my favorite off there. Even though I love Interstellar Overdrive, I even like. If I were to pick 3, it'd have to be AD then. You know,
That's it for me. That's it for me.
right?
Yeah, those 3 are a pretty fair tie.
Yeah, and that's not knocking the other songs.
Are we stereotypical?
Yeah, we're kind of falling into a pattern here.
Indeed.
Like, well, actually, this would be funny if it shows up like on the next record, right? We're all picking the same songs, and it's like, and why are we even doing this?
We're
You know?
stereotypical Floyd fans.
Might as well just all wear our own Dark Side T-shirt because we know we all have it. I bought mine when I was in high school, and
I bought mine from the Roger Waters show.
Yeah,
$75.
I remember buying that. Okay, truth time. I bought mine, I think, in the summer of 2003 from a Hot Topic.
Damn it!
I'm so sorry.
That's awesome.
But I remember paying for it and the guy being like, yeah, this is just one of those shirts you gotta have, isn't it? Yeah, and it's like, I guess, you know, I mean.
The girl from my class. At least we got to listen to Dogs that day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Over the because they had the speakers in the ceiling in that room.
There
I
used
was
to-
like cranking it up too.
Nice.
There used to be a T-shirt shop in Central Mall in Fort Smith. It was like almost right next to where Sam Goody was. Do you remember where that was at? Okay, I didn't know if you spent much time at Central
little.
Mall or
Good
not.
shirts.
A little.
But they used to have
Spencer's is
like
great.
Pink Floyd T-shirts and stuff in this shop. It was like, and I remember they had a Piper at the Gates of Dawn T-shirt, and I was just like, "What's that?
Yeah. No
I've
one-
never heard of this."
Yeah, no one's ever seen this shirt.
But then again, I
before.
was like 14, but now it's like, yeah, I know that record.
Yeah.
That's got the crazy dude who lost his head, at the LSD or whatever.
Now he just paints in his basement all day.
Yeah, shows up randomly at Abbey Road Studios while Pink Floyd's recording their next masterpiece and causes Roger Waters to cry. That's
I'm okay with that. I feel like Roger Waters crying only results in more good music. So maybe we should make him cry more.
Isn't that, man? But like, let's just say like that guy was like mental. Let's just say he was mentally ill, right?
Yeah.
Like, take all the drugs out of it, or let's say the drugs mentally induce mental illness, right? Like,
Right,
he's
yeah.
a mentally ill person, and that is super sad.
yeah, it is,
Like,
right.
probably like the people are, and you could tell like David was producing him for
Right.
forever.
Yeah, they were trying to carry him, like, or
Out of like a sense
try
of
to-
duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's duty.
There's a book I have called A Saucerful of Secrets. It's about Floyd, and there's a chapter in there where they're talking, and they're in the car ride, and they're on the way to the show, and
Yeah.
they're gonna swing by, and they're gonna pick up Sid, and they're at Rogers in the back, and he looks at David, and he's like, "Hey man, what if we just don't go get him?" And then David's like, he just sits there and keeps driving for a minute, and then nobody says anything, but they just don't go get Sid.
Yeah, I've
and
heard
they go to the concert and they do it without him.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting too, especially listening to this, and Saucerful too, since Barrett's on some of the songs on there, is that Sid Barrett haunts Floyd for the rest of their career. He
Yeah.
does, even though he leaves, even though he goes into exile. So many of their songs are about
Shine on you, crazy
him or how they feel about these
Yeah.
situations and things. Like Dark Side of the Moon with this threat of insanity and like dealing with everyday life and all. And it's like Sid's in there, man.
Yeah.
He is very much so the
Right, he's the
elephant in the
specter.
room, or the
Right, that
specter,
is-
yeah.
Absolutely.
That just continually, and yeah, I wonder how much that like influenced, right, the dynamic between Roger and David, especially since, well, because they both were friends with Sid. David was friends with Sid like since I think childhood or something like that. I mean, I think Roger was in some way too, but Roger was one of the founders of Pink Floyd, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they bring in David to sort of cover for Sid because he's fallen apart at this point. But it's like they had a friendship and Roger and Sid had a friendship. So it's like, who does the band really
Are you
belong
trying
to?
to say which one is pink?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Roger.
You know, like
for real.
like because
The only reason
'cause
that debate
Sid-
exists.
Yeah.
Sid was the band leader, and they brought David in as a replacement for Sid, even though Roger is one of the founding members of the band. I mean, he was the bass player at that point. He wrote a song at least. And,
Yeah.
I mean, eventually takes over in a way. But right, who's the rightful heir to the Pink Floyd throne?
It is. It's like feuding brothers
It is.
squabbling
Yeah.
for the throne. Like it's like you would only see weird situations in like a royal family. Like
Yeah.
who's gonna be in charge? All right, we got two brothers over here fighting to be. It's like it is. It's kind of like that.
And
Two brothers squabbling over their
and
dads.
It's just weird to me because the personalities too. Because Roger, the classic sort of narcissistic type, and he's all beat up internally because Daddy died in the war and all this kind of stuff. And then you have David Gilmour, who's like super talented guitar player guy, but he's real laid back for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about did the band go through an era where they were like super into coke or something like that? That like
I don't know. I don't think I reached. I don't think I got to that chapter if there was one.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
okay.
In a Saucerful of Secrets.
I've heard. Okay, yeah, I want to check out that book.
I'll
that
bring it to you.
talking.
Well,
okay,
I want to
okay, yeah.
say that in the latter part, like around the wall, because Richard Wright got kicked out of the band, right? And I want to say one of the reasons is that Roger was like, well, right, Rick was all messed up on drugs or whatever.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Even though it was probably just an excuse.
Yeah.
For all
There's a form about David Gilmour being a cocaine addict here.
Okay.
Is there?
But I don't know. Yeah, what drugs do these guys use? Is the Reddit thing right here? Huh? David Pink Floyd.
This is on Reddit.
But tons of people have done what we're doing right now.
Imagine that.
And questioned whether or not those guys.
I like how we're going through momentary lapse of reason, just like right now. I think that's great. Because this is one we're gonna. Yeah, I told you they remixed this, right?
No.
I didn't.
No.
There's a box set that came out just maybe late last year. That's called like Pink Floyd The Later Years, and it has like Momentary Lapse of Reason, Delicate Sound of Thunder, Division Bell, Pulse, and like a bunch of live tracks and stuff on it. But they actually remixed Momentary Lapse of Reason, Delicate Sound of Thunder, and I think Division Bell. And they stripped away a bunch of like the 80s production.
Yeah.
I think
better?
no. No. As a matter of fact, I actually found that I like the 80s production more because I feel like it's just revisionism
More
at this point.
authentic,
Yeah.
It's like you had your chance and you blew it.
Mm-hmm. It's like, no, this is what I really wanted the record to sound like. This is the director's
Right?
cut
Yeah, it's
40
like
years later.
right. I just felt like it's kind of like trying to convince fans to like the music. Even it's well, hey, you gotta like it now because it sounds different. It sounds better. And it's like you should have. It's 1987. You should have put out the best that you had then, using the tools that you had then, which is what you came up with here.
Yeah.
You know,
And Division Bell should sound fucking. My High Hopes should be all epic and.
What do you think muddles that? You think it's people being influenced by the sounds of the times, or is that just their original evolution, or both?
I think, as an example, like say with this, like Momentary Lapse of Reason, I think a lot of it is just the times.
It sounds 80s as fuck.
Right, that's what I mean. Is the production on it is just like, yeah, it's insanely 80s, gated drums, the reverb type stuff like that. You got electronics, FM synthesizers, that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's corporate arena rock.
It is.
That's
a great way to
I don't know if it right. It's corporate arena rock masquerading as art. For the most part.
Which is why I still Waters Man. And this record is gonna get a fucking 3.
Already.
Where would you rank Roger Waters' first solo album?
Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. Dude, that's the bottom. That record sucks.
It's garbage.
Okay, but I do also immediately like to point out that David's first solo album was the shit.
I agree. The Self-Entitled is a good album. That's a great record.
It really, it
Yeah.
was. It was. No Way Out of Here. That's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, but
of all
Pros and
time.
Cons of Hitchhiking, if you want a record that's like maybe 85% sound effects and maybe
Yeah.
the rest of it recycled. So there's one song on there, I forgot what it's called, but it's Your Possible Past
Is it really?
from Final Cut, pretty much just rewritten. That's all it is, and it has Eric Clapton on it. So
Jesus
that's
Christ.
everything you love, on one record. There you go.
Does it have When the Tigers Broke Free?
No,
Because it should.
no. See that, and that gets into this revisionism thing too. Final Cut. Do you think that record or that song really belongs on that record? When the Tigers Broke Free. Does that belong on
No.
that album?
No.
Because it was recorded for the wall.
Yeah.
And it came out on the wall for the soundtrack for the film, which was like 83. That was Bob Geldof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Live Aid guy.
Mr.
Right?
Live Aid.
Save Ethiopia or whatever.
I watched that Freddie Mercury movie, or the Queen movie.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody. That was really good, by the way.
It was. I watched it as well.
See, I haven't seen it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I mean, I'm not doubting it.
I can't remember if I rented it or saw it in theaters, but I saw it around the time it came out.
Yeah.
It's on HBO right now. Like, you can check it out on the streaming service they have, so that's where I watched it.
Cool. Sweet. But this is great. We're all like tying into things we're going to talk about on later albums. You know, this is all going to resurface. It's going to come up.
For sure.
And the larger point I like is like how often, which I know you in all of time you probably sit down and listen to all these albums, but just to sit down and listen to all the Floyd albums and like have conversations about them, or just actively, I listen to every Pink Floyd album front to back.
Yeah.
It's almost like reading books to me, you know?
Right.
It's like something to kind of be conquered.
And I'll admit a weakness on the earlier Floyd records too. I've probably only heard each one of them once or twice, maybe.
No,
So
okay, and this is another thing to point out, and it's maybe technical limitations of the time or whatever, but the early records, of course, don't sound as as dimensional as, say, Dark Side of the Moon or Wish You Were Here, where it's like those are records I feel like you can just walk into. You know, this is kind of like everything's up front, but part of that is production. I mean, that's all production stuff more than anything. And this is one of your favorite songs of all time, Jeremy Barlow. Dogs of War.
I'm going to kill you with this bottle.
This is like universally hated, like universally hated.
Yes.
Because it's a
what's funny is like when I mention dogs, people will say, "Yeah, dogs of war."
And no, you're like
no,
not even in the same. That shouldn't even exist in the same universe.
It's not the same.
Dogs is
Shame
like a
on them.
masterpiece, and
I'm going to go back and
Dogs
say
really-
Dogs of War is a piece of.
your point earlier about saying that Gilmore's first solo record was great. No, it isn't.
That too. It's layers. Yeah.
Oh man.
Pink Gilmore.
Yeah. Like I said, that was great when somebody was doing band anagram things, and they entered Pink Floyd and they came up with Dinky Flop, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much the latter half of their sort of career there. Yeah.
I need to get something Floyd for the new studio. Some sort of
Dark Side of the Moon t-shirt. I'm pretty sure you can
Absolutely.
find it.
I'm buying the shirt when I go see Roger.
I have one. I'll sell it to you. for
75.
Fair market price.
Market price. Fred prices 65.
It's only going to go
Slightly used.
Exactly. Yeah.
up. Man, that is like both times I saw Roger, I just got the feeling of how timeless this is. Like the parts of the band that we all love, you know, that we keep referring to, and like how him and David in their own ways have really recaptured and been able to put it back up to the fans.
Yeah,
they're both successful.
David does it way less now. Asshole.
Yeah, I guess he's too busy on his houseboat or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think most of these like later records were recorded. Like he bought some houseboat that was built like in the early 20th century and
Yeah.
put a studio into it. And
I wonder what that does to the acoustics, just being on the water.
yeah, I don't know. It's just like, but who thinks of that? He's like, I'm going to buy a houseboat and I'm going to live in it, but I'm going to build a studio in it too.
Yeah, these like albums that are done in theme type places, like, you know, we recorded this record in the house they killed Sharon Tate in.
Yeah, and Nine Inch Nails, right?
Yeah, it's like,
Downward Spiral.
I recorded my last couple records on a houseboat.
I know, it almost seems kind of pedestrian,
Yeah, it's
right? It's
pretty
kind of
ridiculous.
tame. It's like
Like, are you fucking co-oping there with Jimmy Buffett?
That's funny. I saw Jeff Bezos's yacht in Pensacola.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it massive?
Oh yeah, the biggest boat I've ever seen.
I'm
It was like
sure.
the size of a cruise ship. I felt like I was just like, damn, because it was like tons of other boats around, and like it's in a harbor, and we were on a boat, and I was seeing large boats going out into the bay and stuff, and there's just that one. It was bigger than. It was like at least 3 stories, and then I felt like it had like a little captain's area and like some other shit. Like,
Yeah.
way taller. It was like the Tower of Babel, man.
What's even the point of that?
That's why do I have to pay so much taxes? Like that's all I
Exactly.
can think, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude, why is it raising taxes on the middle class even a fucking thing
Yeah.
we're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh my god, people keep asking me about that. Apparently, I'm middle class. I don't know. I'm just like that. But that kid's come up all week about apparently. That's a major in the Democratic debates. A major thing that keeps coming up is raising taxes on the middle class. It's like, how about we raise taxes on that asshole?
Yeah, no
with the
shit.
boat.
Yeah.
Like, and when I'm that, you can raise taxes on me too, and I'll
Absolutely.
fucking gladly pay them because I already am. Like that's making it. Like when you don't have to pay taxes anymore, that's making it.
It is.
How about we don't pay taxes at all?
I'm fine with that.
Hashtag taxation is theft.
Yes. Oh man, dude.
We were here to talk about Pink Floyd.
I know. Hey man, we did a Roger Waters here. That's what it is.
Yeah, we did.
Just
Commercial.
we're not being
This is not a
anti-Semitic because
drill.
That's ridiculous. So
Great save.
Oh man. Yeah, you'll have to look into that Rogers show. That'd be
For
cool.
sure,
if
yeah.
you get to go.
That'd be
man.
awesome.
Well, dudes, let's wrap it up.
All right, yeah.
We'll resume next album.
next time, Saucerful of Secrets.
We'll schedule one
Yeah.
here in a few weeks. Maybe one of the first ones in the new studio. So
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe we could play covers of said songs.
There we go.
that too. It's like we've been rehearsing.
Our own interpretation of this record.
I like it.
Front to back. All right.
Which momentary lapse of reason will just be a lot of auto-tuned flatulence. That's what.
I'm fine with that. I can do that all day.
A buddy of mine's a guitar player. I'm gonna bring him in.
Excellent.
Session.
I like that.
All right.
Collaboration.
Signing off, guys.
All
Thanks so
right.
much for coming by.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks. Well, gents, that was fun.
That was-